So let's talk about that new black power. Did it all start with a little white powder? From the 80s age of the cocaine, now we on a different page in a different campaign. What is all this talk that be coming from the stars? It was late at night when I saw one pause.
What's up, awesome avatars? This is your boy SoNice. I am back here with another episode, a brand new day, beautiful love energy in the air. It's sunny outside, a great summer day. Well, I don't know if it's summer or winter, but you know where we are. We're just in the last days, so we don't know what day is what now, you know. We don't know what season is what. But awesome avatars, how you doing today? Have you woken up? Did you drink your alkaline water? Did you breathe? Did you ask? Did you thank the universe or God or goddess or Sophia or whatever you want to talk about? Have you talked to your higher self this morning and said, you are great, I am beautiful, I am awesome, I am everything? If you haven't done that, take the time right now to do that, because that's literally where I get my energy from, and I want you awesome avatars to feel the same energy. Now, this episode is going to be called, Do You Know Who You Are? Okay? So this episode is going to talk about the ones of this land, right? And we're going to talk about, do we know ultimately who we are? I'll watch this video on YouTube, and he's awesome. I'll show you the descriptions at the bottom, and I'll actually show you some screenshots. I'm going to go into my phone a lot in this episode so I can explain to you more so where I get all this data and why it is accurate, and a lot of the society is hiding it from. Did you hear that? The air is beautiful, the birds are chirping, and why the society is trying to hide the truth, okay? I hear you, hello, how you doing? Everything's awesome right now, avatars. Awesome avatars, that's why you're awesome avatars. Breathe in one more time with me. And let it all out. That happiness is with you, avatars, and we are here because we are awesome avatars. It makes me want to do a little dance, do a little love. Get down tonight. You know, I don't need a drink for this. I'm not drunk, I'm not high. I'm high off life, I'm high off love, vibrations, and wisdom. And the air is so clean. The love is so vibration. We have people working for working on nature, working on themselves, self-healing. So let's gonna get right into it. This is about, do you know who you are? Now, I'm gonna read a couple passages from this YouTuber. He got all this data from the internet, and there's a lot of books that a lot of people are hiding. And this might offend some people in this episode, but before I get into this, this ain't about a race thing, this ain't about a color thing, this is about who we really are as people, okay? And this is how we're gonna know. So I'm gonna read a couple passages in this book, and these are all facts, and if you need credit about it, you can go look it up yourself. But I really think it's time, especially since Black Jupiter, and I think it's Mercury retrograde right now, it's time for us to spread awareness. It's time for us to spread that message to the people who really need it the most, right? So let's get right into it, because I don't want to take a lot of time for you guys. I know you guys are busy today, and we got stuff to do, but it's good to leave the day with some information, or end the night with information. Whatever time you watch this, I hope that you grab this information and do something. And if you're sleeping at night, I highly suggest to get a dream catcher, or not dream catcher, I'm sorry. Well, those are fine and all, but an Oregon pyramid or Oregon tablet or something. I'll show you what I have here. It's really cool. This is an Oregon pyramid. Let me put in the light so you can see it. You see how beautiful that is? It's composited with metals, golds, crystals, copper, iron, and when you put these together, it creates an Oregon energy. So get yourself one today. You could just Google it. It's all over the world. The universe is here. It's giving us vibrations, good things to use for our ascension, right? So let's get right into this. Really, it's a sensitive topic. I'm gonna let you know this, but I'm gonna read this passage out of this book, and this is how we're gonna know who we really are. I've been talking about the Moors a lot, right? I've been talking about our true history of why we've been dumbed down as a society, right? What has society told us? Who watched the movie Roots with Oprah Winfrey and all that stuff? Okay, what year was that? That was around 1700. They never talk about what happened prior to that, right? They never talk about, was Africans always slave? Are all black people African? Like, they always talk like that. I'm not putting down any African what do they call it? Like activists out there. I know you guys are all about Africa, but what I am going to break that matrix and say we are all the same. We don't need to have, oh, we're from this continent. No, we are literally aboriginals from all continents, no matter what color. Australia has, you know, lighter skinned beings that are considered as Caucasian, who look just like us, but just a different skin. So we're gonna break that whole matrix of oh my gosh, like we're all from Africa. No, if you go to Mexico right now, don't tell me you don't see no aboriginals out there that are light or darker skin. Don't tell me if you go to South America, you won't find more darker skinned people. Were they from Africa? No. Were they slave over there? How is that possible if the Mayans were here when Africa was still conquered? I mean, still not conquered, but powerful. They didn't make no damn sense, okay? So this passage out of this YouTube video I watched, and you can look up the book itself, it's all facts, it's just hidden from us. So I'm gonna give you some gems, y'all. If y'all ready for some gems, I want you to comment down below abundance and happiness, because abundance and happiness is how I got this information, and we're all beautiful, awesome avatars. So let's get right into it. Yeah, this is gonna be rough, but we're gonna get through it, okay? Do you know who you really are? This is the this is the title of this page, and this is why I titled it, Do You Know Who You Really Are? So right here, I've been telling people to get this book by Theodore W. Allen. Okay, his name is Theodore W. Allen, introduced by Jeffrey B. Perry. Okay, this book's called, okay, are you ready? Now, like I said, I'm not here to offend nobody, okay? This guy was literally an Englishman who wrote about the control of the Moors, okay? So there ain't no race here. This is just facts, okay? This book is literally called The Invention of the White Race, okay? If I offended you, you can leave right now. But this is not about literally, oh my gosh, you talking about white people, talking about black people. Bro, I was born in the 90s. I don't know shit about that shit. I wasn't born during that time. I'm just trying to spread information that was lost over time. You get it? Okay. Don't come at me with all that, oh, you racist. No. Dumbass people, like, no. Like, this is just education, okay? If you don't like it, you don't have to read it, okay? Watch it or nothing. But I'm sure a lot of you guys want to know why I'm into this book and why I'm into this YouTube channel that's talking about facts, okay? This is going to benefit not only the African American community or but the European American community more so. More so. This ain't just about my, you know, the Moors. This is about every race. Iberians, Spaniards, everything. We need to know this, because the ones who did this are not the ones who are our people. They are literally controlling the world. They're called the elite ruling class. Like, who is the elite ruling class? You know what I'm saying? Nobody knows who the hell they are. But they controlled our whole human society. All right? Now let me get right into it. Okay? This one is part 3. His name, this YouTube video is called, video channel is called Karumio Ahua. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but y'all gotta follow this man. He is spreading the truth. No favoritism going on here. No, oh, who's better than who. This is just straight up facts, yo. It's just straight the fuck up. It's just straight facts, you know what I'm saying? Look, I'll show you right now. Amurio Ahio. I don't know if you can see that. Putting the light a little bit. Maybe if I zoom, I don't know if you can see that. Amurio Ahio. Okay? I don't know if I'm saying his name right, but follow that man on YouTube. He's spreading the awareness, you know? The Invention of the White Race, Volume 1, Racial Oppression and Social Control. This was a psychological control, people. This wasn't no Roots and Oprah Winfrey talking about, oh, we came from, no. That was in 1750s. They didn't talk about what happened 100 years before that. You know what happened 100 before that? I'll get right into that, okay? You know what I'm saying? Talking about we came from nothing. Talking about we came from stupidity. Like the people of our land wasn't smart. You feel me? That was all a lie. And the invention of the white race was, well, let me just get into it, okay? Follow me. I'm going to read this passage out of this book, and then, you know, you guys take it how you want it. But listen clearly of what this says. This is all facts. This is from the book, okay? His name is Theodore W. Allen. Look him up. He's an actual author. I'm not bullshitting you, okay? Readers of this, I'm going to start reading it, so follow me. Readers of the first edition of the Invention of the White Race were startled by Allen's bold assertion on the back cover. Okay, this is what Allen said in the back of his book, okay? This guy's amazing. When the first Africans arrived in Virginia in 1619, okay? There were no white people there, okay? Why is there a quote-unquote on white? There's a reason. So everybody, all my friends out there that are Caucasian, I'm not talking shit on you guys, like at all. You know we're indigo children. I was born in the night. Please follow me. Just listen. When the first Africans arrived in Virginia in 1619, there was no white people there, nor according to the colonial records would there be for another 60 years. What? Like, why don't we know that? Okay, that's statement based on 20 plus years of research in Virginia's colonial records reflected the fact that Allen found no instance of the official use of the word quote unquote white, okay, as a token of social status prior to its appearance in Virginia's law passed in 1691. As he later explained, quote unquote, from himself, others living in the colony at that time were English, not white, they were English, okay? All right, so all the people out there are like, oh, what do you mean? What are you talking about white? No, bro, this is education. Like, white was not, that stuff is it's a control. Color is a control. This is why, because literally, I'm telling you right now, they were English. They weren't called white people. And if you're white, if you consider yourself white out there, that's honestly an insult to your own kind. Okay, all this, oh, I'm white. You know, the news like, oh, how does the white people think? No, that's fucked up. If you're a European American, you should be insulted. That's how I would feel insulted if I was, you know, I have bloodline of European blood. I do, okay? So I am insulted, okay? We're all insulted. You know what I mean? Sprinkle some salt and pepper on there, it'll taste better. Anyways, where was I at? 20 plus years of research of Virginia's colonial records reflected the fact that Allen found no instance of the official use of the word white as a token of social status prior to the appearance in a Virginia law passed in 1691, right? Boom. As he later explained, others living in the colony at that time were English. They had been English when they left England. I'm sure a lot of people know that, but they don't really think about the control that happened right after that. And naturally, they and their Virginia-born children were English. They were not white. Do you get me now, okay? White identity had to be carefully taught. Look at, this is from the passage. They taught this shit to us. This is not real shit. This is, you know what I'm saying? Okay? All right, boom, where am I at? Oh, got a little thorn right there. Don't matter, can't cut me. White identity had to be carefully taught, and it would be only after the passage of 6 crucial decades. 6 crucial, what was crucial during those decades? Nobody knows. I'll tell you what happened, okay? But wait, just hear me out. That word would appear as a synonym for European American, okay? Allen was not merely speaking of word usage. However, his probing research led him to conclude, based on the commonality of experience and demonstrated, solidarity between African American and European American laboring people, the lack of substantial intermediate buffer social control stratum, and the indeterminate status of African Americans, that the white race was not and could not have been functioning in early Virginia. And you know that's where all the stuff happened, was in the South. So Virginia was a powerful place. So for the fact that there was no white people in Virginia at that time makes you ponder what was right. It wasn't saying, it was talking about the actual word, you feel me? It wasn't talking about there was no lighter skinned being. We're talking about the control of color here. Why color controlled most of our lives, and thinking that it's important. It ain't nothing. It's like if you had a bully in school, right? And that bully was just like dumbing down a very sensitive child. Imagine if you had a kid and that kid was going to school and getting bullied. That's exactly what happened to America. We got bullied, okay? All right. In this context of such findings, that he offered his major thesis, the white race, you know, and could not found functioning in early Virginia. In this context of such finding that he found his major thesis, okay? This is so important. Before I read this part, I want people to understand, this is 100% facts. The date, the year, it's crazy. You guys got to research this book. It's crazy, okay? In this context of such finding, that he offers his major thesis, the white race, quote unquote, was invented as a ruling class social control formation in response to labor solidarity as manifested in the later Civil War stages of Bacon's rebellion from 1676 to 1677. To this he adds two important corollaries. Corollaries? I don't know how to say that word. Corollaries. Corollaries? Whatever. Number one, the ruling elite. Who is the ruling elite? Who are these people? I don't know who they are. Okay? The ruling elite, in its own class interest, deliberately instituted a system of racial privileges to define and maintain the quote-unquote white race. Okay? Alright. So, number two. This is all part of the law that dropped in 1676. The consequences were not only ruinous of the interests of the African Americans, they were also disastrous for European American workers whose class interests differed fundamentally from those of the ruling elite. Let me read that one more time for all my white friends out there. I'm sorry, my indigenous Caucasian friends out there who don't know shit about white race. You guys have to understand. You think it's I'm not really offended as much as you should be, because if you read this book, you know, if I was considered white in America, I would be so like offended. You feel me? Because right here it literally says, number two, the consequences were not only ruinous to the interests of African Americans, they were also disastrous. That's really worse than ruinous. Ruinous is not as bad as disastrous. This was disastrous for your people. For European American workers whose class interests differed fundamentally from those of the ruling elite. So if you're a European worker, you're not considered literally a ruling class elite. Nobody knows who the ruling class elite is. I'm gonna let you know who I think they are, because they've been in control since the dawn of time, but they somehow have this power over people. I don't understand. I think they're reptilians. I think they're the demons of the earth. I think they go into human form and manipulate the less melanin skinned beings because their planet Nibiru can't withstand the fossil fuel. They love fossil fuels. That's why they came here, to take our gold, right? Who are these they? They are the reptilian scalp, the medulla oblongata that I told you guys in the Atlantean episode I was talking about. So we can keep this going. In developing these theses, Allen challenged the two main ideological props of white supremacy. The notion that racism is innate and it is therefore useless to struggle against it, and the argument that European Americans workers benefit from white race privilege, and that is in their interest not to oppose them. And so it goes going on and on. You guys got to read this. I'll put the link in the bottom. Okay, there's a lot of data here. You know, it talks about the invention of the white race, industrious servitude. Industrious servitude was literally something that was before 1676. So as you know, I just talked about the white race and how they implemented that law. I just said that, right? That shit fucking crazy, right? I mean, if you think that's fucking crazy, like, I think that's fucking crazy. Like, I didn't know. So what happened after 1676? I'm going off my own wisdom at this point. 1700s hit, 1750s. They literally genocide and said that, you know, Benjamin Franklin himself, and you can look this up, Benjamin Franklin himself said in the early 1900s, he told everybody, he's like, why are you slaving Africans to America when there's a bunch of like Aboriginal people here, including Native Indians, right? This was a Benjamin Franklin, and he himself is considered as a Caucasian. He was one of our highest inventors. He told the people, stop doing that. Look, it's facts. Like, Benjamin Franklin actually fought for our rights. It's crazy. So stop with all this, oh, he's better than who? Like, everybody's a good person inside. We just don't have a right. We don't understand our history. So when you go on the news and they try to implement, oh, the black voters, the white voters, Hispanic voters, that's all bullshit. You know what? Hispanic voters are way more respectful than calling us black and calling you white, or you black and calling me white. You see what I'm saying? Because of this book literally says it was a control from the elite ruling class. If you know anybody in your world that is from the elite ruling class, please let me know. Because I don't know anybody who's from the elite, who, like, how are we supposed to even know that? Like, who are these people who just break down laws, you know? So, before I end this video, because I know it's a lot, and before I even go to the next section of this, I want to breathe in that abundance, because that was a lot of information. Awesome avatars, so much information. I keep getting caught up in this thorn. Can you stop doing that to me? Anyways, let's breathe in abundance. Let out happiness. Awesome avatars, I'm here to talk about, do you know who you really are? That's the title of this page. We're talking about the Moors now, and what happened to us, and why they degraded us for such a long time. When I mean they, I can ultimately say the elite ruling class, because we have no idea who the hell they are. You feel me? Like, it's fucking crazy, right? I don't know who they are. I told you who I think they are, and I really side that note, because it's so funny in the Bible, in the Quran, they talk about the devils and the demons, but they never talk about who they really are. I think they're the elite ruling class. And if y'all listening to me right now in the sky or whatever, yeah, I know that you guys are the elite ruling class. I know that, okay? What you gonna do? Nothing. Can't do nothing, because my people will be free. It is what it is. I ain't afraid. This is a new world, people. We're in the new world. The Indigo children will reunite. If you saw my last episode, talk about Kanye West and the whole powernomics, you know? It's gonna happen. Jupiter is literally rising. It's in our atmosphere. Nibiru is right next to the sun. In the evening, if you have goggles that can look at the sun, there's literally a planet right next to the sun. This is literally something that they prophesied ages ago. And we talked about in Atlantis, how much is one age? One age is considered 10,000 years. Okay? So ages mean like 50,000 years ago, they already predicted that this planet was going to come over, and it's not, I don't see the planet as a physical form that we have to fly and go there. I see planets as like a part of our, I'm not going to get into that. You know what? Let's just keep this going. Back to this. I don't want to get into that. So, boom. Why did they do this? I want everybody to read this book right here too, The Journal of Negro History. Colored Freemen as Slave Owners in Virginia. Read this when you have time, please. This is really important. This is very important, because it breaks down the issue of two Negroes, aka not colored, but African Americans, aka Aboriginal, aka Moors, aka Indigo children, aka us, ultimately, right? AKA, because I'm shooting like AK. That's all these lies. You feel me? All right. Boom. So I'm just gonna read this real quick. Intended servitude. Okay, intended servitude. Okay, let me research that word, intended servitude. Okay, this is before slavery, people. Okay, intended servitude is like as if you have a worker that works on your property, and they're only gonna work there for literally like 2 years. That's an intended servitude. That doesn't mean these intended servitudes were broke and didn't have money and didn't have land and family and love and happiness. Intended servitudes were things that had contracts that you can literally have for, like, if you wanted to hire someone who needs money and you're rich, you can give them a contract of intended servitude. It wasn't until later where they implemented slavery in 1676. Guess what that time was? During the creation of the white, quote unquote, white race from the elite ruling class. Like I said, the European Americans literally got hurt the most from this, because they were put out of, you know, let me go back into this. Okay, intended servitude was the condition and status of no small part of the white population of Virginia when this law was enacted. While it is not part of our purpose in this article to show that white servants were ever bound in servitude to colored masters, the inference from this prohibition upon the property rights of the free Negroes is that colored freemen had an attempt to acquire white or Christian servants. In a revision of the law 78 years later, it was deemed necessary to retain the prohibition and to annex the provision that if any free Negro or mulatto shall nevertheless presume to purchase a Christian white servant, such servant shall immediately become free. So this was after they created the white race. Prior to that, there was a lot of really wealthy Aboriginal kings and queens in Britain. Just look it up on Google. Black king in Britain, okay? Black king in Germany. Did you know King Charles III was literally Aboriginal? He looked like an Indian / what they would call African American. Look it up, people. I'm not bullshitting, okay? This is real shit. There was literally, before 1676, there was a bunch of rich, quote unquote, black people, okay? There was, okay? It was just normal. It wasn't something to look at like, oh my God, why are they doing that? But guess what's happening today? guess what's happening today? It's changing. Everybody's getting their freedom back. Everybody's becoming normal. That's why I'm talking about this, because people need to know the truth. You feel me? I'm gonna end this video very soon because I know it's probably that long, and I just want to talk about who we really are. Talk about the Moors, and I'm gonna talk about two people who were black settlers, young colony, and worth letting this manuscript go through. Okay, so I'm just gonna read this real quick so you understand these two people. So Anthony Johnson was he was an intended servitude and was literally freed, but it wasn't freed like slavery. It was like he was done with his contract, and after his contract, after like 5 years, he bought land, he bought a bunch of stuff. He bought land and he bought everything. Okay, he bought a bunch of things, and then guess what else he bought? He bought African American slaves. Well, sorry, not slaves, but like I said, they were not called slaves, and indentured servants. Okay, because indentured servants still had freedom. So he bought not only land, but indentured servants that were also Aboriginal, African American, and also he bought Christians who were poor and pilgrims who were poor. Okay, it was because he wanted to help them. Of course, he wanted to get assets. He was, you know, this is like I forgot what, this is like around 1620s when he did this. This was normal. Okay, but it wasn't until the white race was implemented where you can't slave pilgrims and Christians. And pilgrims and Christians and England's, you know, they were all, after this law was created, they were considered white. Do you get me now? This is all facts. I'm just telling you the truth. Okay, let me read this last passage and I'm going to end this video, and I'll probably show you one more picture. That's pretty cool. But then after that, you guys can do your own research, and then, you know what I'm saying, go wherever you want to go with that. Okay, so we're going to break this down here. All right, last passage and I'll end this video. With no evidence beyond this explicit admission in the written law of the right of free Negroes to own servants and slaves of their own race, it could be scarcely be doubted that there were in the colony colored men known to the framers of this law who held to service persons of their own race and color. But when the court records are open and the strange story of the free Negro Anthony Johnson, aka Aboriginal, aka Indigenous, okay, had his slave John Kaser is read and understood, we are forced to realization of the impartial attitude of the law toward black masters, not only in its outward expression but also in its actual application. The story of the relation of these two black settlers in the young colony is worth relating in the quaint language of the times, words for word, as it appears in the manuscript records. Anthony Johnson, Negro, about ye beginning of November last, to receive a hog of tobacco, a Negro called John Kaser, came to this is Old English, so it's kind of hard to read. But basically, if you read this, basically it's saying that Anthony Johnson, he bought John Kaser, who's also an African American, and not only that, but bought a bunch of pilgrims. So it wasn't like he servituded his own color. Okay, that was normal back then because he was wealthy. He got out of the servitude from another person, and he made money, and then he got land, and he got other people who needed help. It wasn't about the color. And like I said, it wasn't until 1676 when they implemented the white race, the elite ruling class, not the European Americans, not the Caucasians. I'm talking about the elite ruling class. Okay, this ain't a okay, I already told you guys in the beginning, I'm not talking about race here. I'm talking about literally the race to ascension. Okay, boom. Let's breathe in some abundance and let out that happiness. Awesome avatars, I'm gonna end this video with one note. Don't be a slave in your own mind. Research your education. Know that we're all the same. We're all beautiful. We're all abundant. We're all happiness. And we're gonna get out of this matrix. You know, don't be afraid of the coronavirus and the COVID and all that stuff and the stuff that people are saying. Yeah, be aware. Of course, you can't go into a grocery store without, but like, don't let it encave you, enslave you, because we are all free. We're all freedom, okay? You just read what I said here, that we don't even know our own history. You know what I'm saying? We thought we all came from Africa. No, okay? We are all here. Even Benjamin Franklin himself said that. So if he's a forefather of our country, why don't we listen to what he said? Who are these other people that tell us what we're gonna do? And I'm talking about all people, Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, Native Americans, Hispanic, European American, African American, all of us unite as one, okay? Not just people from Africa, because that's still racism. Like, yeah, like this one guy, I don't want to get into it, but don't separate. It's time for us to unite and show the truth, okay? We are indigos. We are the indigo children. We are the crystal vibrations of universal law. We are the gods and goddesses of the land. And with that being said, awesome avatars, I'm going to end this with it right now. And you guys are now awesome. You guys are now avatars of power. Put your energy up, and I'm out. So nice. Thank you so much. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.
Baptized me in the mud, risk me down, lift me up. America's on a hush, cause we about had enough. Notifications for no illustrations be up and rising. Let go of frustrations and all allegations, we all in alarm.